Well, folks, it is me, Soul, and welcome to another episode of the Soul Sessions. But we're suited up, but well, some of you might have to get your masks on because with me today, Lucha DS, my friend. Welcome to the Soul Sessions.
Hi, how you doing?
Oh, my
Thanks for
pleasure,
having me
Lucha.
on.
Hey, a grand pleasure, my friend. But obviously, Lucha, what I love to do with every guest, every guest has a story and every story has a beginning. So I want to know, how did your story begin as a wrestling fan?
As a wrestling fan, it's a very vivid memory I've got. I think I've told this on a couple other places, but it's such a vivid story. I went to my pal's house when I was in primary five, and we were just playing in his bedroom, and he said, "Do you want me to put on the wrestling?" And I said, "Put on what?" And he had a VHS copy of WrestleMania 7, and he stuck it in. And the first match it was on when it was playing was the Rockers, and that was it. I left his house that day, took that VHS with me. He never got it back, and then I think I watched every wrestling video that Global Video and Blockbuster and I can't remember the name of the other rental place had for like forever. Every time a new video came in, I had it. Some of them were returned and some of them I kept.
Well, careful there, Lucha. You don't want Blockbuster rising from the grave and coming with that late fee, mate. It's going to be a bit extortionate now.
Come at me, bro.
Hey. Obviously, I've had a few guests on, but I mentioned the importance of tape trading. Back in the day before, everything was so vastly available in our day and age with the digital, where there was the tape, you could get tapes of, something from like Japan or something from Mexico, or even just obviously with WWF being on a late delay here in the UK, that's how some people would watch it. I want to know for yourself, Lucha, tape trading, do you think that was important to the UK wrestling scene rising?
I think like see for the guys that were taking the classes back in the day, and training folk, and they were all big in the tape trading scene, and they were seeing stuff that British people weren't seeing. So everything had that kind of wee extra addition of something different. Obviously the British scene itself was big on the tape trading scene in the States because they really wanted to get like the world of sport and the British style stuff. So I think in a whole, like we are essentially still tape trading, only we do it via YouTube now. You know what I mean? Where we're watching PWG, New Japan, AEW, WWE, like we still are essentially tape trading. We're just not physically posting stuff anymore, but we're doing it digitally.
Yeah, very true, my friend. Just shows the medium of wrestling has evolved with the day and age. But also, I want to go back as well. Obviously, you mentioned like the whole Blockbuster going in. I remember you would go in and think, "Oh, I want to rent something," and you would look and you see the cover of something, and the cover would strike you because, "Oh, that looks enticing, so I'll take that." I want to know from yourself, Lucha, what kind of wrestling tapes, like covers, really struck out to you? Like, "Oh, I want to rent that."
Well, the best covers were always Survivor Series because you would have your heavyweight wrestler, your kind of intercontinental wrestler, and one of your tag teams teamed up. And back in the day, you had to wait to the big shows for these guys to be in the ring together because essentially they would just come out and do like jobber shows where they come out and beat up some Mike Greenway from Massachusetts would take a doing off of somebody. So to get like Undertaker, Bossman, Demolition, Heart Foundation on the ring together with all the pay-per-views, Survivor Series, Rumble, WrestleMania, etc. So, but the Survivor Series one was always one that grabbed me because it had like a couple of my favourites in the same match, either teaming together
very
or
good
against each
choice as
other.
well. And hey, very good choices all around, my friend. But obviously, the biggest show of WrestleMania has some very, very vivid posters and covers. So I want to know, Lucha, which WrestleMania poster do you think is the most striking?
I don't know. I think the old one with I think the one I remember having was Slaughter and Hogan facing off, or then the one where was it Hogan and Warrior? Like, but because them ones were the ones I think I rented the most when I was younger, they're the ones that stick in my head the most. They were still here.
Sorry there, Lucha. The internet cut out there.
That's all right, mate.
Let's go broadband.
You want to just go back to the WrestleMania covers thing?
Indeed, yes. So I'll restart. Obviously, WrestleMania is the show of shows, has some exceptional posters. So I want to know, Lucha, which one do you think is the most striking?
The one that always stuck with me was because it was the one that I think I rented the most at the video shops, is the one either Slaughter facing off with Hogan or Andre and Hogan, or there was Hogan Warrior. But essentially, most of the ones were Hogan back in the day because they were all the ones that they rented until they couldn't play anymore.
Very true. Very obviously striking. And obviously, in the modern day and age, obviously with the streaming, they seem to take a step back with posters, because, they feel like the event sells itself. And I want to know, Lucha, if you had to build, WrestleMania 40's poster, and with the current stars now available in the company, who would you want to see on the poster to sell that event?
There is only one. You could have the whole poster just having Roman Reigns, and in the background you would just have everybody's beat. and like dark blue or something. Have Roman at the front in colour with his arm up, and have everybody's defeated behind him. There you go.
Hey, very striking indeed. And obviously, we just had Crown Jewel happen where Roman Reigns beat LA Knight. And it makes me wonder, personally as myself, I think it's run its course. It should have been done many times ago, because it feels like it's just, it's something, you have something good, but if you just keep going and going and going, it kind of weans down. I want to know if your thoughts yourself, Lucha, do you think Roman Reigns has held the title on too long, or do you think it's not run its course just yet?
No, I couldn't disagree more. Everybody was disappointed when Undertaker's streak ended, or eventually ended. Why does a streak need to end? If somebody wants to come up and take Roman Reigns' spot, they've got to be worthy at that spot. And who's there? Who's at that level? And just now there's nobody really.
Oh, well, I mean, some people would have said LA Knight, some people said Cody Rhodes. I mean, maybe someone who won a title at Crown Jewel, maybe Logan Paul can maybe step up and dethrone, Roman Reigns again. Maybe he could go for
it. LA Knight is just on his way up just now. Cody Rhodes has only just come in for AEW, so they're only going to throw the strap on him either. There's I don't see anybody at the level for Reigns. I think if it is eventually going to be taken off him, it's got to be Jey Uso, story-wise.
Oh. No, hey, I completely agree with you, my friend. I think Jey dethroning Roman Reigns to become the new tribal chief would be very poetic, and I think that's the way it should go. But obviously, Lucha yourself, my friend, you have a mask, and masks are so enticing within wrestling. So I want to know, Lucha, what drew you to don the mask?
Well, there's a few reasons. The main one is I love masked wrestlers, and when I was a wee guy, I wanted to be a masked wrestler. And then when I get a chance to be a wrestler, the style I do anyway, being quite agile, athletic, and being able to do a lot of gymnastic stuff, it suits the way I want to wrestle and how I perform anyway. So yeah, I could do all the same stuff without the mask, but the mask adds the element, and it also I think it forces you more to stay in that style. Whereas I could do loads of cool moves, but if I wasn't wearing the mask, I might maybe move in and try and do more tech or do different styles that I'm able to do. I'm trained in most styles, but I like the style, the lane I'm in, and I think I've carved my kind of own niche with it.
Very unique, my friend. And obviously, that kind of style, most people associate masks with the luchador style. So popular, obviously, with like AAA or CMLL down in Mexico. I mean, what is it that style do you think resonates with people so much?
Well, we look like superheroes. We look like live superheroes. You also have a bit of mystery as well. As people don't know who's behind the mask. Fair enough that like the people within the scene know what I look like without it. But you do still get fans go, can I see what it look like underneath? It just gives them a wee bit more allure to come in and seeing you, especially at the end of the show when it's the wee kids. They come up and get posters signed and their masks signed and stuff. Like they do look at you like, and it was the same thing myself when I was a wee guy and went to shows. There was the mask guys. I was like, they're cool.
Oh, absolutely as well. So I got to know, Lucha, who were the main masked wrestlers that really inspired you when you were a wee?
Like main man's Mysterio, wasn't it? Like when he took the mask off, like that was kind of devastating myself. Like then you'd other guys like Juventud, Psychosis, all these guys like back in the day with the kind of WCW kind of cruiserweights were all again all really cool, and then like even more modern, like the guys that done like Lucha Underground was amazing. I don't think it get credit it really deserved at the time. And then obviously from there you get Phoenix, Pentagon, Aerostar, who's the other ones that really jumped to it for her? Even Shane Strickland when he done Kill Shot, like even though we knew who the guys were, Matt Cross under his mask and stuff, we knew who these guys were, but putting the mask on them changed their character. And that was that again. That's the allure of it. You get to be somebody else.
No, absolutely. And someone you touched upon there was Lucha Underground. Now, I'm kind of familiar with Lucha Underground. I know like they had the Gift of the Gods Championship. I remember Angelico did that jump onto a ladder spot as well. Yeah. It seems like fans really hold that time period of wrestling where Lucha Underground was popular so close to the chest. Why is it, Lucha, that people really love Lucha Underground?
I think it was how they performed it. They performed it as if it was a separate wee universe. Everything that happened in it was very unique. Obviously, you had Jeff Cobb as the big champion, like the big monster. And then you introduced people like Jack Evans and Helico as their tag team, as well as Pentagon. Right? You got to use the Pentagon Junior name and stuff. So you got your blend of mixes of your American talent, your Mexican talent, and then now and again your name that you knew came in, maybe under a mask or maybe not. It just gave it a different vibe, and how they filmed it on the one wee arena. So the arena itself became a character. The same way where the old traditional kind of black and gold NXT arena was a character, which I think NXT is as good as the stuff that's happening in the ring is. They lost the vibe when they changed that studio because I felt itself that black and gold wee studio that they had was part of the show.
It's a good very point in there as well. You mentioned like the arena being part of the character and the story. I immediately think of like the ECW arena that had a story, even here in Scotland with like the garage with ICW, and you mentioned obviously Lucha Ground Studio there. I want to know, Lucha, why do you think maybe like the idea of like the studio or like the arena or the place, or whatever venue being a character might be a lost art in modern wrestling?
Well, it gives it a nostalgia, doesn't it? Like it gives you somewhere where you go. That's the home of wrestling. That's the home of, like you mentioned, ICW, like the garage. Like I used to go to the garage before I trained to be a wrestler, because the garage itself was such a nice venue. You were so crammed in. You could have a drink. You could watch over 18s wrestling. So like that night out was everything you kind of want to do. You could have a couple of beers, watch some wrestling, nice venue, centre of Glasgow. You could get a train in and out. There was no bother. Sure, in NXT Florida, it's beside the Performance Centre, so you had that kind of home where the guys were working, performing it, or being so kind of hand in hand. So yeah, like having that place where you call home, definitely as a, I don't know, like the event itself rather than the card becomes the attraction.
Yeah, very good point indeed. And before we move to our home of the UK and Scotland, let's touch upon Lucha Underground with one more thing. Lucha, I want to know, my friend, who do you think were the four pillars of Lucha Underground?
Well, Pentagon Junior was the man. He was the main one. Angelico became the kind of the rising star with that big jump that he done. I can't remember the girl's name. The one that she's kind of blackballed everywhere.
No, Sexy Star.
No. Well, she was one of them. The other one that wrestled with her.
Oh, Ivelisse.
She was kind of one of the main stars at the start of that as well. She became the case, and then Jeff Cobb's character with the mask on. I can't remember his name. It was that long since I watched it. But I actually watched it more for Jack Evans and Aerostar. And I think there's a match on YouTube. It's Jack Evans v Aerostar, and it's still one of the best matches I think I've seen. It's a go-to, like, what do I watch? I'll stick that match on. And if you can have a match where it's somebody's go-to just to tune it, then you've done your job.
Hey, I mean, you mentioned, Jack Evans being one of your favorites. I know he was in AEW for a while, Hybrid 2.0 with Angelico, and now obviously he's gone from the company now. Is it a bit saddened for you to see Jack Evans, be gone from AEW?
Well, I listened to his interview after it, and he felt himself he should be gone. So if you're feeling it yourself, you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be here. He felt himself that he took his eye off the ball with it, and the guaranteed wage was something that he wasn't used to, and it made him lazy. And he felt he was phoning it in, and him himself came out and said, "I shouldn't be here anymore." So the doesn't matter with me. I think he thinks it himself. He shouldn't be there. He shouldn't be here.
Hey, very truthful answer to that as well. Now, Lucha DS, you're a part of the Soul Sessions guest line, and I know you've faced a few in the past. You faced the Scottish Interpromotional Champion Frank Cross, hell of a guy in himself. I want to know what it was like facing Frank.
He was in the first match I ever had. The very first match I ever had was he was doing his other gimmick. He was called David Krychek at the time, and we were doing a run-in on the SSW Rumble. And right before we went out to do the Rumble in the main event, the top rope get broke, and the promoter basically came out and said, "You can only go at one side of the ring. The other one's on the safe." So me and Frank Cross had worked out a way where we could basically keep each other safe and still get our stuff in. And then, like I say, 10 years down the line, we're still in the ring across from each other. So it's a nice touch. And he's only get bigger and stronger, and he hits harder every time. So as much as I enjoy wrestling him, I like a wee break for not wrestling him as well.
Fair point indeed. That's why he is indeed the Scottish Promotional Champion. But obviously, Lucha, you mentioned there, 10 years, because I know you recently celebrated your 10-year anniversary starting, correct?
Yeah, 2 days ago was 10 years from the first day I walked into the PBW Academy to learn this art form. 10 years later, I'm still in it. On the exact day that I hit my 10-year anniversary, I was main event in a PBW show against David Blaze. So, like, the kind of nostalgia and the poignancy of that day is stuck. So, see what happens in year 11 and year 12.
Absolutely, my friend, of course. I mean, it must be like a very humble thing to know, like 10 years ago when you first walked in, and then now main event in that PBW show. If you could go back to, the 10 years ago yourself first walking in and give some piece of advice, what advice would that be?
Same advice I'd get any trainee. Same you're a trainee, you only get 2 jobs: shut up and listen. That's it. You think you know what it is. You think you know what we do. 10 years ago, I guarantee you, I'd have been like, "Oh, this is cool. That's cool. I know wrestling. Blah blah blah." And like within 2-3 months of getting into training and actually learning training, you realise you don't know anything. You're just a fan who's climbed over the barrier, and some people shouldn't. Some people should stay over the other side. But if people really want to do it and dedicated, you find out very quickly that you're this isn't how it works. This is how it works. And then 10 years down the line, I main event most companies I work for. I work for about 14, 15 companies all over Europe. I'm getting the work I get because I now understand what I didn't know when. So yeah, I'd go back and go, see, in 10 years' time, you're going to be everywhere. But just shut up and listen what they tell you, because you will get further faster by closing the mouth, opening the ears.
Yeah, fair dues, my friend. I'm sure you've probably seen some people come in and feel like, oh, this is probably like a trampoline, or those ropes aren't as easy as they look, and then they hit that and they're like, oh shit.
I've seen people chuck it on their first bump. See, the first time you hit, because I didn't train in a wrestling ring. I trained on mats, and see, the first time you take a back bump on like judo mats, like it's unbelievably hard. But I've worked in rings that are harder. So like if you're only prepared to take that first hit and like smile as you do it, then move it away, because there's a queue of people who will do it. But that's where you find out if your heart's in it or not, when you actually go, no, this hurts, and you just get back up and do it again, rather than roll away and want to go. And because you do get people like, oh, hurt, I'm going to sit out for 10-15 minutes, and you just see their brain evaluating as, nah, I think I'll just buy tickets to shows now rather than try and be on shows.
Yeah, fair play. But I mean, it shows, if you're going to do something you love, you're going to have to embrace a wee bit of pain for it, because then you'll truly love it more.
Yeah, 100%. I'm constantly either injured or something's just getting better, and then see when someone's just getting better, someone else starts to suck. Just broke my thumb. When did they Wales? 2 months ago. Broke my thumb in the middle of a match. Was in. That was the Sunday. Went to hospital on Monday. Got a diagnosis. Thumb's broken. 2 months off. And as the doctor was saying, like 2 months off, he was just going, "Are you wrestling this weekend?" But I was like, "Yeah." That Friday night, main event on a show. Just didn't do much with that thumb. But it's not doing it for the sake of doing it well. Oh, I can wrestle hot. It was more like it's my thumb. Like I do backflips and swantons. I don't use my thumb much. It was just a freak accident that broke it.
Well, hey, it shows that you're a passionate and hardworking worker, so we love to see that. Truly doing it for the craft, my friend.
And stupid. It proves you're stupid. Yeah, I asked my wife, like as I was packing my bag, she was like, "You're stupid. You did realise this?" And I was like, "Oh, it's fine. I couldn't change gear in my car, but I'm changing my wrestling gear."
Fair play, my friend. But also, our little island of the UK, you've got Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and England. And I've always wondered with wrestlers, do they find, like, obviously with our little separation of the island, that there's different kind of fans, like they have a different appreciation for certain moves, or like have a different kind of culture? Do you think there's like different kinds of wrestling fans across the UK?
Nah, there's to me there's two types of fans. Doesn't matter which part of the country you're in. You've got wrestling fans and non-wrestling fans. When you come up and do like the camp shows and you wrestle on holiday parks, I don't know, through the summer there, you're wrestling in front of every day, wrestling in front of up to 1,000 people. 90% of them don't know what wrestling is. They're on a holiday park. It's entertainment. It's free. It keeps your brains busy. We'll go along, and to entertain them is 10 times harder than to entertain somebody who sits and goes, "I watch WWE every weekend." So that's your. I'm not saying it's two definitive types, but what it is that's your spectrum. So you've got non-wrestling fans and your wrestling fans, and on that spectrum, every person at a show is on that spectrum, and it's how you entertain them. That's the craft. Doesn't matter if it's England, Ireland, Wales. The mums ooh and ah, and the dads look at it going, "I would leather him," and then they see a couple of moves and go, "Oh, maybe I wouldn't." And the kids booing, yeah. But apart from that, the geographical difference doesn't really make a difference. The difference is where the people on that spectrum, can you get them and get their attention? That's what the job is, no?
Hey, very true indeed, because the fans are the lifeblood of this business as well. And I know we've seen with WWE, they had their super fan Vlad documentary, and it was very interesting to see that passion for Vlad go throughout the ages. And I want to know for yourself, Lucha, what's your most memorable fan interaction?
So this one is strange because I never ever met Scott Hall, but I met the guy who worked as Razor Ramon on the UK gimmick show where they pretended to be the WWE guys.
Oh,
so the gimmick Razor Ramon, when I was a wee guy, I snuck backstage because I wanted to see the dressing room, and it's actually in a venue that I now work as a wrestler in Greenock Town Hall, and I knew how to get backstage without going through the security. But I would go upstairs where the balcony is and go down the other flight of stairs, and I could get backstage. And as I was sneaking backstage, the guy who played Scott Hall, I still to this day don't know who it was, stuck his head out, seen I was there, and grabbed the door wedge that was holding the door open and threw it right at me. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So I was in school on Monday, not realising it was all fake guys. And I'm in school on Monday going, Razor Ramon threw a door wedge at me. And like I said, I never met Scott Hall to go, "Hey, that wasn't you." But to me, when I was a wee guy, that was the one that kind of stuck with me, that I annoyed Razor Ramon so much that he threw a door wedge at me. And it wasn't even him.
That's one for the record books, my friend, indeed.
And here's a more modern day one. When I started out training 10 years ago, the first time I was in the ring with a star name was Christopher Daniels. And Christopher Daniels was like me, "If you run the ropes much?" I said, "A bit, not a lot." And he basically spent kind of 10 minutes with me on how he hit the ropes. And I still hit the ropes the way Christopher Daniels showed me 10 years ago, which I thought was pretty cool.
Hey, who knows? I think we should get you and him again on Ring of Honor soon enough. That would be a hell of a matchup now.
I'd put him over. That kindness.
Fair play, brother. Fair play indeed. Now, obviously, our little UK scene here, especially in Scotland, has got a wee, boost because so many big companies are coming over. And I know Impact recently did a UK tour, and you were in Glasgow for the old gut check. And I know you were a part of that, my friend. I want to know, what was it that driven you to initially go for the gut check, and what was it like?
I was asked along by two of my pals who are wrestlers who they were going to do it. They said, you should come and do it. They knew I would the night off, and I kind of was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to wrestle for Impact. I don't want to pay the money that they're asking for, and I'm really not interested in going to the venue where it was being held either. I was just like, it just seemed like it seemed like work. See if it doesn't seem like fun, it seems like work. And when it seems like work, my kind of heart is in it a wee bit, but I was like, do you know what? I'll go, because even if I'm going along and doing it and seeing like what it is and what it's part of, I'm still there with my pals and I can still have a laugh, which I did. I went along, had a laugh.
Hey, it is what it is, my friend. But also, Scotland, you can't even mention Scottish wrestling without ICW. And I feel like ICW is so integral to our DNA as wrestlers and wrestling fans. And I remember like how when I had people on, they talked about ICW being so popular was through the BBC documentaries, the Fight Club ones, the two, first one on Grado, second one on Drew Galloway. I wonder for yourself, Lucha, what do you think ICW means to Scottish wrestling DNA?
I don't know. I'm trying not to slag it, but
if you feel I love an opinion.
It's not. ICW back in the day that's where you want to be. Like that's you want to work at your company to the point where ICW notice you, and then you get to work on ICW. And I don't think it's not the draw anymore. When it went on the network and it wasn't insane anymore, it lost its for me it lost its draw, because I don't like the running shows that I wouldn't go to, because they're not the product that they were. They're still a amazing product. Like all the guys, like even just now, is it just now? I think everybody who's holding the belt is a PBW guy. Aaron Echo's a champion, the young team, both PBW, Angel Hayes the women's championship. Like everybody, Sakib for the 0G, it's got the PBW roster as its backbone. So the matches are still great. The talent's phenomenal, but is it insane anymore? And that was what the allure for me was when I was going along as a fan. Like you would turn up and I think one of the ones I went along was maybe Wolfgang v Solar, and Wolfgang came out and there was like, Solar's injured, and then Fergal Devitt came out covered in face paint, like, and blew the roof off the place. Like that was the, like I said, it was a night out, whereas now I think they run shows in the afternoon, and like again, I'm not slagging it. It's just it was never my go-to. It was like, because I'm very much a family-friendly wrestler. Like my gimmick isn't suited for ICW, so again, it wouldn't do me favours to be on it. But I have done matches on it. I've been offered opportunities and went along and took part. But again, it wasn't. It's just some things are for you and some things aren't. It's the same with like Progress in London. Again, see, once they joined the WWE and then won the part of WWE, or changes ownership and that, like the name is still the name, but the nostalgia for the brand, I don't think it's there anymore.
Do you feel like going on the WWE network kind of, neutered them, kind of like took them back to like a lower level, and then now being free, they're not taking that risk to, do a bigger show? Like people want ICW to run the Hydro again, but it's not happened. Do you feel like they're now in a very cautious state?
No, I think at the time when they all joined the network, they'd already had all their main guys already plucked out the company. Like Wolfgang was away, the Coffees were away, Kenny Williams was away. So they then went onto the network, and they then had to, they had an opportunity to rebuild the next set of established stars. And I think it's all still the same guys. Like, let's say Jester, BT Gunn, Kenny Williams is back. They built some folk like Angel Hayes, Rio, Molly, all went through. Like the women have really shown, I think. A young team now with the tag belts. So it's I just think I would say it's like a new era, maybe.
Hey, fair point indeed. But also, you mentioned World ICW, a lot of their champions are PBW guys, and I think it shows how much great talent are coming out of PBW. Do you think PBW is going to be like maybe one of the top Scottish companies within the next year?
I don't think it hasn't been any year. Like from when I started training, I could name you 10 training schools that have opened and closed. And from them 10 training schools, the guys who came through them, like the people who were like the main guys of these schools, they as I say, the cream always rises. The people who came through with determination to become a wrestler are still wrestlers. They just maybe aren't with that company. When I joined PBW Academy, PBW were running all the town halls, the biggest shows of the year, the biggest production, the lights, everything was all there. I just done a show for them this week. Lights, camera, production, all still there. The talent, all still there. There's a reason why you pick any Scottish promotion right now. In fact, pick any Scottish promotion right now and just bring up who their champions are, and I guarantee you, if not one or all, will be PBW graduates.
Wow, I mean, that really just sells the place. So, all right, Lucha, I want you to sell me a pitch right now. Say I've got a wrestler from England and they're thinking of coming up to Scotland, and I need you to sell them PBW to them right now. Say if they're watching this, why should someone from England or even Wales, Northern Ireland, heck, even in the States, come over for Scotland and go to PBW?
To train or to be on a show?
Let's say be on a show.
Well, good luck to you, because you're not getting on that roster. Our roster is jam-packed with talent, and to get on it, to even creep onto that roster, you've got to be at our level. So you're coming up all the way from England to be on a PBW show. Well, chances are you've been asked, because it's not an open door to just walk in. Like you either need to be a name or be an up and coming name, or have some sort of talent that's going to knock one of our established guys off that roster. The PBW roster's been rock solid the whole time I've been part. When I joined PBW, the roster at the time was Wolfgang, Jester, Grado, Liam Thompson, Steve Xavier, Kaylee Ray, Viper, Kenny Williams, Davey Blaze, Andy Wild. Like that was the best of the best. And right now, you put that roster up against our roster, and it's still the best of the best in Scottish talent. Now, like I said, PBW sells itself when, like I said, you bring up any other roster, any other company, whether it be Pro 2, SWE, I don't think any other ones, Main Event Entertainment, Scotia, any other one, bring up their talent, ICW, bring up your list of champions, bring up your roster, bring up a poster. There's PBW over it. And that's why we are everywhere, and we are the main guys on the card, is because when we're on the card, we're putting on the best matches, and it's not just a flash in the pan, can do some cool moves. It's rock solid matches and storytelling and production, even with gear. The fundamentals are turning up, shaking hands, building rings. Like, that's drilled into you at a trainee. So when we turn up to a show, we're adding to every show we show up to. Whereas you've got other guys that will come in, although there's a car coming in from generic company, whatever. The guys come in, they sit in the dressing room. Some of them don't say hello to people. They come out, they have a average match, and then you go, well, they're not coming back. Like, even us as a roster, you go, well, they'll not be back. Like, they didn't blow us away backstage. The crowd were into them in the ring. But you bring a car from, like, this weekend, I'm in Scotia. Me and Soldato are doing Lucha Scotland on Friday night, and then we're doing it again on Saturday night in England, and both of them matches will be bangers. And I always like to say, may not be the best match on the card, but soon you leave that show, you'll remember I was on that show.
Oh,
and that's my big PBW stamp of approval. When I got away, I went to fans talk about the guy who was on the show, and it just happens to be 9 times out of 10 it'll be a PBW guy you were talking about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It just shows that so many great talent are there. And maybe I should reiterate my questions in the future, saying why PBW is the DNA of Scottish wrestling, with just how much it shines bright. And, obviously it sounds like it's a great locker room environment as well. And I think they're important within wrestling as well. How do you think, like, having a positive locker room, just obviously affects morale within the wrestlers, Lucha?
When you're at a show, you're there for 4 or 5 hours. they want to hang about with idiots or people there's no atmosphere with, or like that one I done the other night. We were on the dressing room laughing, and to the point that the person running the show, the venue, actually had to come back and ask us to keep the noise down because we're all laughing too loud, because you could hear us. And while the crowd were sitting waiting on the show to start, there was so much noise coming out of the dressing room that they come back and asked us to keep the noise down because we were all just hanging out and having a laugh and roasting the young trainees. And I think I got it for quite a wee bit as well, which I don't mind getting it, but because I get it out just as much. But like the 3-4 hours that we were on that dressing room was a highlight of the day. The wrestling part was actually, you're like, oh, I actually need to leave this environment to go out and do the show. I'd rather be in there having a laugh than out there. I'm actually paid to be here today. So that says, I think that speaks more volumes than that locker room environment. The thing is see when a bad apple comes into a locker room, they're not ill. Like bags will physically be removed from you'll be, let's just put him over there. They'll go and get changed in another area. I've seen it on shows even this year that an area had to be made up for a specific wrestler because everybody said, I'm not sharing the dressing room with them.
Here we go. No bad apples.
No, what's the point? Like, what's the point of showing up? See, like, one of my biggest pet hates, and it doesn't matter if you're English, Scottish, Irish, whatever. See if you show up at a dressing room to a show and everybody's all there's a kind of buzz, and you get that one person, it's like, I can't be asked. You go, well, don't be here then, because there's literally 50 other wrestlers that will swap with you today, right now, to be in your spot. So if you can't be asked, stay home, mate. Like, that wrestling's a hard enough job that it's if you're not 100% in and 100% enthusiastic about being there, it's not one of them things where it breeds, like, the negative energy spreads. It's you're very much you're in your corner because everybody else is there to have fun, make money, entertain crowds, get home buzzing, and then get up. Like, get home at 2 a.m, be up again at 6 a.m, to leave again to do a 7-hour drive somewhere else. And that's because we want to be doing this.
Hey, very true there, Lucha. We don't want anyone just coming over and half-assing it and just being a right arsehole.
No, as we've got WWE, old WWE guys will come over and do that, so we don't need to breed within.
Right. Very true indeed, my friend. And obviously, something I would love to see in the Scottish scene in the future maybe is a big super show. The whole Forbidden Door term is very big nowadays. So I want to know, Lucha, obviously PBW will be on there. Which other companies would you like to see do a big Scottish wrestling super show?
Super show. I don't know. You could. Here's an idea I would do. You would have a core of not just PBW, Scottish wrestlers, right? So you'd have your best Scottish tag team, your best women, your best men, your best male tag, female tag, mask guy. So that's your one side, and then the other side, go at him. Who do you want to wrestle? Like, who do you think would be a good match? And that show alone would be amazing. I've had a thing just recently where I've got a match next year in November where I'm looking to wrestle somebody who I want to wrestle. And I want to wrestle somebody. Well, the idea is I want to wrestle somebody for WrestleMania that I first watched, WrestleMania 7. I think most of them are dead, but like somebody who's on that show who's still active that I could have a match with, just so I can go, I wrestled somebody who was on the first ever wrestling match I ever watched. So let people pick. Like I've had the thing where last year it was Tajiri. I've got one coming up in December. I'm not allowed to talk about. When's this getting put out?
Probably next January.
Really? Right. Well, I'm actually already happened. So I'm wrestling James Storm in December when he comes over. Just did the one there with Tajiri, which was a real laugh. Like these kind of one-off events. Like let the 6 matches pick their opponents, and that's your super show. Because the people we pick we'll draw for it being our dream match, and then you've got a full card of that, so you'd have a big venue packed of people.
Aye, very true indeed. I mean, hell of a thing to have on your resume as well. You can get that for the CV, put it there, and it's like, hey, done and dusted, hire me, I'm the best around. Sell yourself, my friend.
Aye, or even, like see when I done the one with Tajiri, and Tajiri was like, we things Tajiri follows me on Twitter. He'll send me a message from time to time to tell me like it's a poster I'm on. Like you're just like, that's Tajiri. You know what I mean? Like these old guys, I think they get the allure they've got of being these kind of boyhood dreams to the people who they're in the ring with.
Mhm.
Like you can't beat it, no. But then on the flip side, see when you meet one, he's a pure wanker. You're like, oh mate, don't be a wanker. Yeah, they
I
come over.
think,
They
yeah, I
come
think,
over.
I think,
They don't want to be here. Or you meet one of them and they want to know whether they can score drugs, and you're just like, you're one of them. It's so disappointing. Like,
shit,
it's the absolute worst. Yeah, and then like you get like I said, Tajiri, like such a nice guy. Like, I spent a whole day with him. From like we wrestled, we ended up doing a tag match. It was maybe me v him, but he was injured, so we covered it. We run me and him as a tag team, so I could do a lot of heavy lifting. And I think I was with him from like 9 that morning till 2 o'clock in the morning. I dropped him off at his hotel. One of the best days ever. Like such a nice guy. So I've got memories of that day spent with him. So much fun. Nice guy. Great match. Crowd loved it. I've got that experience of doing that. Also the fact that I helped him by him being injured to the point after the thing was like, you're such a good professional wrestler. Like the crowd didn't pick up I was hurt. And I was like, no, I've wrestled with people that's injured before. So yeah, there's a wee tip of the cap like that is sometimes means more than some website voting you match of the year, because you're like I've been in matches of like I think there was one I got match of the month and I was like, match was shit. Like it was absolute, like I carried somebody through a match. Isn't it a match a year? A match a year is maybe competitive where the two are testing each other. Or else you got other ones like wrestler of the month is voted. The guy in one match. Then I've wrestled 15 matches that month, and I'm like, I don't know who. Like, I don't need a website to tell me who's wrestling a month. Like, I've wrestled all these folk.
Hey, very true there. I mean, I remember when I heard about the whole CM Punk situation, I was like, oh, he's a dick. Shit. I was like, why?
I've never met him, but apparently, see, if he likes you, he's brand new. He's like one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. But if he doesn't like you, he's a dick.
Right.
But I think that could be the same for me. Like people will always say like, "Oh, Lucha's one of the nicest guys like in the dressing room." But if I don't like you, chances are that your opinion on me is I'm one of the nicest guys. So I take people's opinions with a pinch of salt. And in the wrestling world, especially, that I've had people come up to like, I'm going to this company and they go, watch out for this person. And then you go, and when you meet them, you're like, person brand new. Like, it's obviously somebody else's relationship there, no?
Yeah, very true. I think especially with wrestling, you get like the whole fan tribalism, you know, my company's better than your company or that sort of thing. Why do you think that's so poignant in wrestling?
Because fans are stupid. No, but it's not your company. That company doesn't know who you are. You give that company money. Fair enough, you have a feeling of loyalty to that company. The company doesn't know you. It's the same way these people are mega football fans. Like, yeah, I'm a big Celtic fan, I'm a big Rangers fan. Like, essentially, you are booing and cheering over two teams of guys in their 20s who are millionaires who don't know who you are. Like, just enjoy what it is. See if it's something on the telly that you don't like, turn the channel. If it's wrestling, you don't like it, don't watch it. Because the thing is seeing a full wrestling show, where it's AEW, WWE, TNA, MLW, PWG. See if you watch a full show, there'll be one match you like. Because every show is a circus. You don't need to like the trapeze guy to like the clowns. Like, there'll be something in there that you will like. There'll be stuff in there you don't like. But see the stuff you don't like, that's not for you. That's for somebody that likes that. And see the stuff that you love, that's because they put it out there because they know people like you will love that. The fact that who runs it and who's the general manager and who's the CEO, that's you're playing politics, and politics you're not involved in. So take a swig of beer, chill out, flick it on, watch the next episode because there'll be something on it you like.
Very true, fellas. Just relax. Stop being arseholes. No one likes an arsehole. Just relax. It's wrestling at the end of the day. Have fun with it. That's the main thing.
Exactly. Like, I guarantee I could tell you one of my favourite ever matches and you'd like, I've watched that. It's awful. Because what I liked in it, you might not even notice in it. The same way, like, people would go, oh, I'm a big fan of, like, see people are like, I'm a big fan of this wrestler. And you go, well, see if you watch all that wrestlers' matches, they're all very samey because that's what we do. We get our stuff and we stick to it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of fans don't realise that the stuff they're a fan of isn't the moves. It's the stuff in between. It's the character. It's the character development and how things are going along. And they go, oh, I love when they do this move and do that move. And you go, no, what you like is a bit in between the moves, but you don't realise it. You think it's that bit you like. And it's the same way a match. Like some people go, I didn't like that match because of this. And you go, but you've missed the story of the match. Or people who will like the story of the match. Like, for instance, somebody will really like a match and they'll realise that see if you actually just watch that match on its own, might be full of botches, bits mistimed and whatever, but because it's in this timeline of a story that's been told over a year, it becomes a significant match. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you can like 99% of a wrestling show, but see, at the end when Daniel Bryan doesn't win a belt, that show was disgusting. I'm leaving. I'm never watching WWE again. Protesting, and you go, you do realise like you enjoyed every other match on it, like just because that one result wasn't the result you got, like the bigger picture wise, you were entertained, and that's all we do. And the thing that people don't realise is the bit they don't like, that emotional investment where something's annoyed and pissed them off. That's what makes them like it later when the bad guy gets his comeuppance. When Roman Reigns eventually drops this WWE title, I guarantee you online, most of the people like that should never have been that person. Or the other ones go like that, it was the right person. And the reason is, see the people that are right, they're right. And the people that are wrong, they're right as well, because it's their opinion. And that's what wrestling is all about. It's all about creating these moments where people are either booing or cheering. And when people don't realise the bit they're booing and the bit that upsets them, it was designed to make you boo and be upset. because later on when you got a big cheer, the cheer's 10 times bigger.
Exactly, my friend. I mean, I look at WrestleMania 39 this year when Cody lost to Roman, everyone was absolutely raging. People were tearing apart seats and stuff like that as well. And I was like, dude, Jesus Christ.
Imagine spending £3,000 to £4,000 to be annoyed. Imagine dropping $3,000, traveling to the States, having the time of your life on holiday, and then one wee thing happens, and you're like, I'm gonna go mental. I'm gonna wreck this place. You go, well, it's the same with people like go to a cup final and their team doesn't win. When they win it next year, that's where your high is. In the moment, you want to be a lunatic and go mental and go gaff your nut. Remembering you're $4,000 out of pocket. That's where you want to be annoyed. No, but see if you went and that WrestleMania had everything happen that you wanted to happen, but your hotel was rubbish. That trip's just as bad. Take it all as a whole. Enjoy the whole experience. That's the whole point. It is the day of a wrestling show when you're going along to it. The anticipation of going to the show, standing in a queue to get in with your ticket, that bit when you're sitting in the venue and the music's playing and the ring's sitting empty, that build up, that's all part of it. Then that's the bit you enjoy. The matches are the matches, but the results are the results are. And if you buy into it enough that it upsets you, then good, that makes you a wrestling fan. You get him annoyed, like going mental because Roman Reigns beat LA Knight, then yeah, right. have a beer and put on Game of Thrones and watch someone else for a half an hour and take your mind off it.
Very true. Before you start making all the posts online and just saying, this sucks. It's like, chill, stop being fickle. Relax.
My biggest reaction for wrestling fans is see when people put up, I will not watch the network again. Do you know which fan out of all the fans in the world that will 100% be watching the network next episode? Somebody who's angry enough to tweet, I'll never watch it again. They've got you, mate, hook, line, and sinker. If you're so annoyed that you're tweeting out there that somebody's annoyed you, you're a fan, and you will be front and centre next episode.
Indeed, they will be, indeed. But obviously, WrestleMania might be coming to the UK as well. And we've got some glorious stadiums right across our country, which I want to know for yourself. If WrestleMania does indeed come to the UK, which stadium would you like to see it be held in?
It could only be Wembley, innit? Wembley or Hampden's the seats are too far away for the pitch. The event they done in Cardiff was amazing. That venue was really good. But
the Principality.
But it won't come to UK. It's too much a cash cow in the States. We'll maybe one day get a SummerSlam or a Rumble, but WrestleMania will never. The cities in America bid for WrestleMania. We in the UK, like we can't even get Eurovision, like, so you're not going to get WrestleMania. We've got more chance of hosting a Eurovision final than we have a WrestleMania. And you know what? There's just the same amount of spandex and backflips and music and thingy. So,
if very true. If you're any American viewer watching, you don't know what the fuck the Eurovision is, just Google it and you'll see what we mean. It's a spectacle among itself.
Eurovision is the WrestleMania of Europe.
I'm going to see Graham Norton now just say that's the tagline now. Jesus Christ. Oh, that'd be a thing and a half. But Lucha, my friend, your time's coming here to the socials to an end. But I want to finish up with some final questions here. My friend, with masks as well, there's a common stipulation with them, the mask versus mask stipulation, where one loses it when being pinned. I want to know, Lucha, if you could have a dream mask versus mask match against someone, any luchador legend or anyone that you think on the current UK scene who wears a mask, who would you want to use it against and why?
I don't know who I would let take my mask. I don't know who. It would need to be a name. It would need to be, like, obviously I'd say Mysterio. But do you know what? See if Pentagon come over or Phoenix come over and do that match, maybe. I think if the day I'm going to take us off, chances be hair versus mask or something like that. Some stipulation like that. Or my last match. But I have had wrestlers suggest, like, see during my match, like, we should rip the mask off you. I'm like, absolutely not. Like you're suggesting that because you know you're going to get a bit of rub off it, whereas to me it buries me. So I don't know. I'm saying Phoenix, Pentagon thingy. Like, to them it would just be another match. I'd rather have a match mean more to me. I'd rather maybe one of the heels who have wrestled all these years eventually get that win against me, and with the win take a mask. No, like say a Krieger, who I don't think he's ever beat me in about 50 times I've wrestled. So maybe get him a mask.
Well, two previous guests going up against it with the mask on the line. I think that sells money right there, my friend. But obviously, another side of the question, is there a particular wrestler's mask you would want to take as a trophy? Like, say if you got to have any luchador mask as a trophy in a mask versus mask, which one would it want to be?
Well, I did have the idea that when I started coming up, that I wanted to be the mask collector. And basically, when other mask wrestlers were coming to an end, that was going to be me. So when Technico, who was my tag partner, chucked it, he just took it off and just went home. I'd have loved to have had that match, and then I could have had his mask. Solar, who was my other tag team partner, he took the mask off. I don't know if he'd done it in a match, but I could have had his. So, like, I could have made it a point, and I'm the one that took like 4 or 5 different mask wrestlers, like Ligero. I don't even know if he's had his final match or whether. I don't even think he does it anymore. Like, I just watched a podcast with him, and he seems kind of content with being away for the scene. But I would do a match with Ligero tomorrow and take his mask off him. Yeah.
Wow.
Trying who else? Soldato, who's my current tag team champions at a couple of promotions. I'll take Andy's mask.
Indeed, go for it, my friend. And second final question, my friend. If you got to take your mask design and merge it with another iconic mask design, like a Gravity or a Metalik or even a Mysterio or Aerostar or Pentagon or Phoenix, which mask design would you want to combine with yours to make a new creation?
Well, my mask design is very unique. It's also my design. So the faceplate here, as much as all the masks change, this faceplate never changes. I actually used it as it's quite clever. Like, so see if you look directly at my mask, the eyes, the head, the nose, and everything. It's all arrows. They're all pointing to here. Everything comes, look right here. This is what I want you to look at. No matter where you're in the arena, turn that way, turn that way. Everything's telling you to look right in the middle of my face. It's a big look at me. Even the wee arrow here, like this is the point. This is where I want everybody in the arena looking. Merging with other people's masks is difficult because you'll get people who cover their mouth, and I've wrestled like with the Sin Cara mask on, like while I was training. So hard to breathe. And then you've got other ones like Aerostar, whose eyes is covered. Like this already, I've already lost like about 40% of my eyesight with this on, my depth perception, because the cover of the eye. So see if that bit's covered. Don't know. I always like Ligero's horns.
Okay.
Ligero's horn idea was fantastic. Big horns that come up with this. I quite like Pentagon's drape. I think you could make like a best of mask. So rather than merge it with just one person, you could make a mask with about 4 or 5 different peoples.
Okay.
I think it might be the ugliest mask you've ever seen, but it'd be pretty cool to wear. Because Ligero's is a big faceplate with the horns. Then you could have Pentagon's dangly bits. You could have Phoenix's spike up the middle. You could make a pretty cool mask with about 4 or 5s.
It would be an absolute fine collection. I'm sure people will be happy to buy all the replicas of that, and you'll be getting a nice wee profit of that, my friend, as well. But obviously, Lucha, final question to wrap up. I always like the dream scenario, and I want to ask yourself, say you got a chance to hold any title in the UK scene, and you love it, but just simply because of look, which title would you want around your shoulder that's currently used in the UK?
The best looking belt in the UK scene is a Caithness belt. The Caithness belt I've had and held. Such a nice looking belt, and it's small, compact, it's silver, it's got a big Scotland flag on it. It's such I'm sure if you go into my Instagram and stuff, I've got pictures of me holding it when I had it. It's such a nice belt, and because of the Scotland flag and I wore my Scotland gear, like it looked like my belt. I'm currently got the Target. What's behind me? I've got the Target tag team titles behind me. They're really nice as well. And then one of the other titles, which isn't a belt, is the PBW King of Cruisers, which I held at the time was a trophy, but it's now a shield with all our names on it. If everybody that's ever held it in the 13, 14 years, that is the reason why that's so special is it's again tradition. That match only happens once a year. It doesn't change hands during the year. The match happens once a year. The best 6 cruiserweights come together, put on the best 6-man elimination match once a year. That's it. And once you've held it, you've held it. Previous winners: Bubblegum, Ligero, Kenny Williams, Liam Thompson, Stevie Xavier, Luke King Sharp, Leighton Buzzard, myself. And then just recently I was held by Logan. Logan is the newest and current reigning defending. I think so it makes him the 14th or the 15th person to ever hold it.
Wow, hey, it just shows right there. So much history going on in our little scene, and you love to see it. Because if you don't, have history, then you can't look back and smile upon the good times, as they say. Eh? Right.
Also, the Pro Tour have got really nice tag belts that me and Soldato held for a wee bit earlier this year. Really nice looking belts as well. There's also like some belts that are honking. Like when the promotion goes at you, you're the new champion. Like you can take that home with you, and you're like, I'll just leave it here. Like you're better looking after it. Because belts are fantastic. Like obviously a company's got to a point where they go like your name means enough that like we want you to like champion us. But some of the belts are like like I think I've got right behind me just now. I've got 3 belts sitting. I'm a heavyweight champion of Scotia Pro Wrestling. I'm the current Lanarkshire champion for Clyde Valley Pro Wrestling, and I'm the current Target Tag Team champion. And as good as that is, my wife moans anytime I come home with a new belt because she goes, "Where are you going to put that?" Like the other ones are already taking up that space over there. Where's the rest of them going to go? But see, coming home, I just normally throw them into my wee boy's bedroom because he's a massive wrestling fan. So he just sits with one of the belts on. Like, how cool is that? I've let him take him into school for show and tell. Like, so other kids are like, "Hey, look, I got this new Pokemon card," and he's like, "I've got this big giant heavyweight title belt." That's when the belts mean more. When they mean more to the family, and that then rather than what the actual belt means to the company, if that makes sense.
Hey, fair indeed, my friend, and you'll love to see it indeed. But Lucha DS, my friend, it's been a pleasure having you here on the Soul Sessions. But what I love to do as well, 2024, when this episode will be coming out, we'll be entering it. It's going to be a big year. I want to know, 2024, what's that year going to be for you, pal? Is it going to be the hell of a year? What have you got planned? What is going to be 2024 for Lucha DS?
It's going to be busy. As we are recording this right now, we're not dating it too much, but we're in November, so this is going to come out in January. As this comes out, as I'm recording in November, I'm already booked up to December next year. So I can already tell you, I don't know if I'm spoiling it. Right, big competition next year is happening in Germany. The European Championships football are happening. Scotland's qualified. I was wanting to go over as a fan and go and thingway, but it turns out there's a company in Germany that wants me to go and wrestle during it. So I'm going to be in Germany during the Euros, performing for all the football fans. That's the show next year. That's where I want to be. I'm going to be over there when I'm sober and wrestling. Oh, it's going to be great fun. But when I'm not here, I'm going to be at football. I'm basically getting paid to go on a holiday that I would be going on if I wasn't being paid to be here. So I'm going to be getting paid and looked after while going on a holiday that I would have spent thousands of pounds to go on. And then I can be like a wrestling fan and come back when Scotland get eliminated and be pure raging.
Oh, Lucha, you lucky shite.
Yeah, so next year's going to be busy. What next year will be in particular as well is, see, because it's my 10th year, I'm going to be a wee bit more selective with some of my dates. A couple of years ago, I was very much, you asked me, I said yes, I turn up. No matter what show is, that kind of show up to the opening and envelope type thing, I just wanted to be busy. Whereas now I'm like, let's be more selective and just see the shows where I really enjoy it, the shows that mean well, the shows that pay me. Like, let's not be about the bush. Like, it's called professional wrestling because we make money doing this. Some companies' rings aren't worth the money for me to be hitting my back off of because they're rock solid. Some of the guys who I've been pitched up to wrestle against is not worth a wage to be punched in the face or injured by somebody who we know isn't particularly great. Like, so I've been being selective, doing the more bigger shows, taking more dates that are more fun and having more fun and more opportunities to go places. Maybe go the night before, have a night out. So have more fun with wrestling because COVID nearly killed the business. Everything shut down, but what it did is it shone a big light on why we do it and why we want to have fun while we do it. So let's not waste our weekends here. Let's go, have fun, do a show, get paid, have fun, come home safe, have a night out. Then we do it all again the following weekend. And that's what my plan is for 2024.
The repetition of fun, my friend, never stops and always keeps on going. But obviously, folks, you can just see Lucha's journey because I'll be putting a link to his Instagram below. You can click that, follow, see the journey of the Lucha man across the world, and maybe see a bit of pictures of his journey, his escapades in Germany. Hopefully,
you can follow Instagram or go to luchads.com and you can see every poster I've ever been on. You can see every match result I've ever had. You can see links to podcasts I've been on. You can see links to shows coming up. I'm also in 2024 starting, as this is coming out, I've already started doing some stand-up comedy. So I'm now going into a different world, a different lane. Again, it's all about having fun, new experiences. So luchads.com will have all that details of where you can find me. And the thing about my website is different from every other wrestler's website. When you click on the website, you'll see the poster of every show I've got coming up. You click that link, you click on the poster, it takes you straight to the link to the tickets. I don't get any money from it. The only people making money is the promotions. And it's all about promoting the scene. It's not about promoting Lucha DS. The only reason is luchads.com is because we need somewhere to put all the posters. So that's the gimmick. You click on the site, there's a poster, you click on it, takes you a link to buy tickets to that show that you've just clicked on. And that's it. And the promoter makes the money and I get to enjoy my weekend.
Well, hey, you know what? I'll include a link to that as well, viewers, because I know this day and age people are lazy. They don't want to type the thing in. They just want a nice click in it because everyone's lazy. They want Prime Delivery. They want Netflix, all of their shows in one bang. I'll cater to you. Don't be lazy. There you go. Well, hey, thank you, viewers. And I would say the whole YouTube shtick, but YouTube's been around since 2005. I feel like I don't need to explain myself. You all know what you're doing with this whole subscribe and liking thing. But hey, thank you, everyone, for tuning in for another episode of The Soul Sessions.